Part two, the action part, the doing part. We actually show you SQL. Again, I'm not really big on trying to teach it from a book and go over line by line. So let's just start. So yeah, I just want to cover super simple SQL syntax. Let's just dive in. So I got a data set, and again, you know how I feel about fake data. So I downloaded this data 2 days ago, updated 2 days ago. So it's relatively new data. This is this analyst 3 data sets. Customer. So the reason I picked this is because it's just super simple to use. We have 3 data sets, 3 Excel files, 3 whatever, and they're actually Excel files. I convert them out to CSV. Let me move this over here so you can see this. We have sales data, customer data, shopping mall data, which provides information on transaction, customer demographics, shopping mall characteristics. Each data set has a unique attribute, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so they actually do give us a little bit more data dictionary, which is rare. When we get those. Here's what the customer data looks like. So 100,000 rows, just a little bit of 100,000 rows, 60-40 females, customer age, cash, credit card, or other. Okay, I guess other is debit card. We don't say that, but I think that's what it is. I don't know why it says other. Maybe something else besides debit card. Okay, so let's dig in. I do have these downloaded. Actually, let me just download them again. It's a small, easy data set. So in SQL, you really got 3 parts. You know, the top part, middle part, end part. And there is a more elegant way to explain it, but that's really what you got. You got the top part, middle part, and bottom part. Kind of the top part is what you want. What do you want to see? You want to see all of it. You want to see certain columns. What do you want to see? The middle part is where do you want to see it from? The bottom part is let's add some filters. So do you want just maybe the customer ID, just a name? You know, do you want everything? And we're going to dive into each one of these in a little bit more detail. But that's kind of, you know, all around. Select, update, delete. You know, what are we doing? Kind of big picture. Then from where or to where or who where, you know, our data set, our Excel data set. Our rows and columns right here. And instead of being on our desktop and named public customer data, it's on a database in a table, and it's called customer data table. And third part, what rules do we want? Do we want to limit it by age or by, you know, gender or by whatever? So actually here, let's look here. So we have what I'm looking at right here: gender, age, payment type. Let's go sales data. Sales data, we have invoice number, customer ID, category. So customer ID, look at that, we have that, and we also have that on customer ID. So we have that on both things. So guess what? That's probably how we join. Customer ID. Cool. Okay, so we have, invoice, customer ID, category, like clothing, shoes, quantity, how much of whatever they bought, 5 of them, 2 of them. Invoice date, so these are dates. We can scoot over here. The price, and the shopping mall. Cool beans. So I'm thinking in my mind already, hey, what if I wanted to find very large cash purchases? How would I do that? What if I want to find females or males who bought very large cash purchases? I could find large cash purchases on here by just sorting it by like this. Boom, so that's all my really large cash purchases. But it doesn't tie back to a customer, so if I'm looking for fraud, that doesn't really help me. Is that over here? Yep. So how do I get females or males or age on here? Well, I join on this. So let's go back here. So I want to select everything from customer data or sales data, will, where, purchase of $25,000 or more. So let's keep going here a little bit. Really, in that first part, that select, you have 4 options, sorry. And people generally live in one wheelhouse for most of their life. Some people just do select all. That's all I ever do. A lot of times you only have read access, so all you can do is select all. And that's just saying, hey, give me the data. Other people do inserts. That's when they sometimes, well, not sometimes, it's when they add more data. If I have to add a row, or maybe I'll insert onto a current existing database. In Excel, that's right mouse click, insert a new column or insert new row. Update is when we want to change something. This all makes sense, very easy. And delete, guess what delete does? Yeah, you guessed it, delete. A lot of DBAs use delete or update. A lot of analysts use select and sometimes insert. So pretty easy. 3 things. Part 1's covered. Now part 2 is how do we join? How do we take 2 tables, like like customer, like how do we take these 2 tables? I'm gonna go back. Well, maybe it doesn't want to go back. Go back. How do we take customer data with customer ID and join it to sales data? How do we do that? It's a good question, right? I mean, when you really think about it, how do we do that? Well, a couple classes ago, I talked about universities, I believe. I think that's what it was. And I want to give you a little bit more detailed analysis. Yeah, I wanted to kind of think about it. To me, that's a really easy analogy. But I think there's 7 to 10 different types of joins, but these are the 3 that you mainly use. These are all the ones that I only care about. These are the only ones you should care about unless you become a DBA, a database administrator, or some type of advanced programmer. For the most part, this is all you're ever going to need. Left join, full join, and inner join. And sometimes these have slightly different names, like a left join can be a right join by changing the order of things. Okay, so don't get too confused in terminology. But if I have all the UNLV students here in red, in an Excel table, a big Excel sheet of 30,000 some students, all the UNLV students. And then somebody else gives me a sheet, an Excel document, a database of all the CSN, the College of Southern Nevada students. And I want to start looking into that. How do I do that? How do I join 2 different IDs, 2 different colleges? Well, maybe the governor, whoever comes down and says, hey, you know what? I want to know all the students that go to both UNLV and CSN. I want both those students. So rule A, they have to go to University of Nevada, Las Vegas. B, they have to go to CSN. I only want that small subset of students. That's an inner join. We're joining from UNLV and from CSN and making it like a very small data set. And why would we do that? Maybe we want to see how those students are transferring. Maybe we want to see how those students are graduating. Maybe we want to give them some type of special award or scholarship. Hey, you're going to 2 colleges, you're crazy. Let's give you an award. And background just changed. So that's an inner join. First picture, this one, is only students who go to, well, yeah, this one I can't read. The first picture is, sorry, my text message just started blowing up. So the first picture is basically each college is a separate file, all the students from UNLV, all the students from CSN. Second picture, only students who go to both universities, this one right here. And you can't see my mouse, it really annoys me. Oh, I'm trying some laser. That's this one right here. Both only right in here. So those only students that are dumb enough to enroll to 2 different colleges and work their butt off. I've done it. My wife's done a lot of students, and it's a lot of work. Okay. So now, that was the second picture. So third picture. Any student that goes to either school. Maybe I just need to know how many teachers and how many students I need to hire. I don't care if they go to UNLV, I don't care if they go to CSN. I just need to know the total number of students we have. That's it. That's an outer join, a full join. That's right here. You know, join on student ID, I join on, I don't know, social security number, birthday, something. And I'm gonna get the total number of students that go to any school. Now, what if I want to know all the students that go to UNLV and also kind of like CSN, all students, all UNLV students and CSN students who also attend UNLV. Because not all UNLV students go to CSN, so I can't make that assumption, but some CSN students go to UNLV. So I have to join them here. That's what this one is. So now you kind of see the logic difference between here, you know, first pick right here, second pick right here, third pick, fourth pick. If you can get the basics of these join types, you're 90% to understanding SQL. Well, I guess it's not really a join, it's just how we start. These are two different tables. So far, what we have is select everything. First line right here. That's going to be our world. Select everything. Where do we want to select it from? The customer data. And I'm just going to make an abbreviation called that customer just to make life easy. What I want to do with that, I want to join it. I want to enter join on sales data. We're just going to call that sales just to make life a little easier. So I'm going to join customer.customer ID. Sorry to draw that equals sales.customer ID. So now I'm going to have one bigger database. If I had this with Scrollable, you'd be able to see it. So what I'm doing is I'm looking for all the customers and sales data. So I have one big Excel sheet, if that's what you want to think about it. And I said, hey, we're people over 25. First part's done. What do you want? That's this right up here. Second part from the where. Now, why do we want to filter? Why do we want to filter? We want to filter because if we pull in too much stuff, I mean, you guys just did the curse of dimensionality discussion. If we pull in too much data, what happens? It's too long to download. It's too complex to analyze. You know, and I know that Excel can do about 1 million rows. When I get over to Snowflake, okay, so this is one of the reasons we do this. So this is one of the data sets I work with here at my house, and look at that. 1, 2, 3, 715 million. It's a big number. It's something I know I can't load into Excel. I mean, that's a big number. That's just, I'm counting how many users I have. It's a big number. 1.5 billion, is that what it is? I mean, that would be thousands of Excel spreadsheets. And so now if I have 1.5 billion or 15 billion rows, every column I add, I'm adding another 15 billion things I have to download or analyze. So if I have date of birth and I have age, I have to download 15 billion things again. So that's why we start using the third part here, the where. That's why we start trying to add focus to it, you know. Because we want to be able to really limit and kind of focus our question. There's a big difference between the last video where I talked about relationships and your personal relationship with your significant other. Same word, big difference, because you have to focus it in. And like I said, this age 25, age greater than 25, it's just some random thing I came up with. That is why the third part is so vital. It teaches us what we need to focus in on. Oops. Sorry about that. Let me see if I can fix that. So just a couple real big picture ideas. Just like in Excel, where we can sort and filter, we can do the same thing. So let's just read this in plain English. And there's also or, equals, does not equal, which is sometimes an exclamation point does not equal. Sometimes it says greater than or less than. There's in, like if you had an in list, A, B, C, in, alligators, crocodiles. And there's also null. And now nulls will only remove things that are not there. Not if you put a space in there, there's a space. It's not a null, it's a space. So nulls actually have to not exist. But if I just want to drill down a little bit more, let's say we were talking about looking for fraud. I want to look for anybody that spent more than $2,000. I want to look at somebody that paid cash. They bought, it's less than 3 of whatever they bought, and they're under 21. If you actually look at this data set, the people that paid cash, more than $2,000 are generally older people. And this, I think, is a fake data set. But so it's kind of suspicious that you have a bunch of females that are 19 years old buying something, 2 and 3 times for $2,000. Okay, so let's go into SQL and we'll go into this. So here's what we got. These is kind of like the raw Excel data. Just so we kind of have a general idea. You don't normally always have the raw Excel data, so it is kind of nice. And then we can think, how do we want to start joining this? I mean, we could do a there's different ways to do it in Excel. But again, Excel may only goes up to 1 million, 2 million rows. What if I had 1 billion rows? I mean, it's a fair question. So let's start really simple. Delete all this. I'm going to run this. And this is Snowflake. I just pay for this on my own. Nobody's sponsoring me or anything else like that. Last semester I used Amazon RDS and Light Sale. So it doesn't really matter, same context. So again, you can see that we're looking at customer data. Okay, so right screen, I guess. So customer data, it's this one right here. And let's see if we can just find somehow something got messed up here. I think I froze wrong panel. Okay, so let's just grab row 10, this customer. So how do we do this? So in Excel, I think a good number to remember, 5402. I mean, look, I'm just now see how long I even had to wait, and that's only 100,000 rows. This is a good. Don't get me wrong. This is a super fast machine. This is like the fastest Radeon 4090. It's, I use my computers all the time, so this is a fast machine. I'm just still waiting. So unselect all. Like I said, it's only 100,000 rows. So let's try one more time. Let's try. Unselect all. This is painful, guys. That's why I don't use Excel. $65.99. $65.99. 26. So there we go. We definitely have that customer. If I go over here, I could do where customer ID equals C266599. Run it. Oh, you gotta spell it right. Customer, there we go. Boom, right there, same thing. Same thing. Okay, so it's definitely the same data, and you see, to query the data, I mean, it took, what, 38 milliseconds? if I want to find where gender equals male, I'm not using a very fast computer. This is 300 milliseconds. And we saw how slow it took on Excel. 40,000 rows, a third of a second. But now the next question is, what if I wanted to get my sales data? I'm hoping it's just sales. Yep, there we go, sales data. Oops, there's no gender on that. How do we join? Oh, you can't see my screen. Sorry about that, guys. So let me go back a couple steps. Okay, so customer ID equals this. It's the same information that was on your screen while I was demoing. So let's, and you saw how long that took? So if you look right down here, 34 milliseconds. And, you know, where gender equals, let's try female. Look at that, 300 milliseconds, third of a second, 60,000 rows. And we saw how slow Excel was. So, and this is not even really that big of a data set. I mean, you've seen I got other data sets in here that are billions of rows long. And this took, you know, third of a second. And Excel took, I don't know, 5-10 seconds. So now let's join on, let's join California Mall. Oops. Sales data. I'm gonna call this customer. So these are just aliases or shortcuts. Okay. And sales. Then the on statement says, hey, how are you going to make them match? How are we going to join them? So I'm just going to say, you know, in customer, we have something called customer ID. And that is the same as sales dot customer ID. So 100,000 rows. And still under second, 800 milliseconds. And look. But now I want you to know something. We have customer ID twice. Why is that? Why do we have customer ID twice? Well, this is our first table, the customer data, right here. These 3 rows, and this is our second table, sales. So we have customer, and so in our customer data, we have customer ID, gender, age, and payment method. Desktop right. Customer ID, gender, age, and payment method. And then we're joining it to this one. So basically, you know, if you were to take this and, I don't know, do a VLOOKUP or some way to join these, it's kind of what you'd have. Don't worry about any of this right here. So this is kind of what our database looks like, but it joins correctly on customer ID and it's much faster. Okay, so that's what we have. So now, like, you know, we were talking about the where statement. Well, what do you want to look for? You can tell me where, how about we go price is greater than $500. So what did we say we had, about 100,000 rows? Oops, not prices. Price is greater than 500 bucks. Boom. Now we're down to 42,000 rows. And category, we'll do in shoes, comma, clothing. You gotta put your little brackets, clothing. So again, this will get rid of all these technology ones here. So we're going to reduce this 42,000. I got an extra. I spelled something wrong. What happened here? 1 second here. Okay, there we go. Where were we here? We're right here. Yep, so what, 37,000. So see how we keep whittling it down, getting more and more to the question we want answered? How long do we are at? 26 minutes. Not bad on time. And this is real, they say this is real data. I think it's fake data. I'm pretty sure it's fake data, but at least it's from the real world. I mean, it's from Kaggle, not from some book company or book publisher. This is real, Kaggle data. I mean, here's another data set. I thought about going over. Look at that. 34 million reviews. How would you do that in Excel? You couldn't. From 6.6 million users on 2 million some products. And it would take a few seconds to do in SQL. And you cannot do it. Well, you probably could figure out a way to do it in Excel, but it wouldn't be easy. You want to look for reviews that are positive. You want to look for reviews that are negative. You want to look for reviews. I mean, do certain reviews, are reviews more positive on payday versus not payday? I mean, let's say rent's due on the 1st. Are there going to be more negative reviews on that day? There's a lot to think about, When the iPhone comes out, are there more positive reviews related to other Apple products? All very important business questions. And simple SQL can answer this. So now, let's move to the next step. Let's take this data, which is just pure SQL, and let's just put it in a simple Python environment. Because part of SQL is doing, and now, yes, you can run Excel and Python, or Excel and SQL. So you can pull in there's a couple different videos I can show you, but yeah, you can pull in pure SQL into Python, or into Excel, sorry. And it's commonly used. A lot of financial analysts do it when they have to pull in stock data. That's really the only main place I've seen it used, is when people like pulling in stock data, or they need some type of real-time data, so they pull it in live into Excel. I've seen other people do it for a couple other reasons. It's not super common, but literally you could copy this right into Excel. And as long as you have the credentials and everything all hooked up, just pull this data right into Excel. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on a Python and notebook, but I do want to show it to you. So now, because my environment is restricted, I have to do a remote desktop to get into it. Desktop right. Let's make this as big as possible. Okay, so as simple as I can humanly explain it, we have my name and password in here. This just tests to make sure I can connect. I have some security restrictions on my account, and I don't want a lot of people to connect into it because I pay for it. So we're just going to do this. So here's the SQL that we're going to use. Select customer ID, gender, age, payment method, category, invoice, and price from customer data and sales. We're going to join on what we said before, customer ID and customer data. And we're just going to see some results. Let's start with that. So let me just hit run all. Don't worry, I'm not going to expect you to do this, but I just want to show you the power, because I think this is going to be a lot of the future. Okay, so we have the same data here. Credit card, clothing, blah, blah, blah. So now I asked it to make me a violin plot based on gender and price. This is exactly why I thought the data was fake. This very first graph right here. It shows that both male and females spend the exact same amount at the exact same time. So a lot of people, a lot of males and females spend, I don't know, what do you think, $250 or less. And at 3,000, let's say there's a bump, but it's just too perfect. So that was just my playing around. Then the next question is, let's look at price by time. This was very easy to do. I wanted the first day in my data set, the last day in my data set. I wanted my highest spending day and my lowest spending day. And boom, it just made that. I want to know, what did I do on this one? Monthly spending, credit card versus cash versus debit card. Well, I can notice that there's a huge dip right here, and I don't know why. So if I was a business, I would start investigating this. Maybe something closed down. Maybe, and I know it's not just one of my Visa machines broke, because if it was a Visa machine, I would still expect my cash payments to be up here. I mean, I cashed really high, and then I didn't. So, we talk about machine learning. Let's make a graph showing, let's make I hate pie charts, a pie chart showing cash, credit card, and debit card amounts. They say never do live demos, we'll see. Boom, look at that. So you don't have to know all the Python, but knowing the SQL is vital. Let me come up. Actually, I'm good with my live demo, because that makes me nervous that it's never going to work right the second time. But yeah, if we pulled the wrong data, this would be wrong. But since we pulled the right data, we can be kind of assured that that's at least semi-right. We can verify it later. Okay. So that is why I've been encouraging you all semester to kind of learn ChatGPT, learn the right methods to Google, learn how to solve problems on yourself. If I was a boss and came to you and said, hey, do women or men spend more money in my mall? Well, make a table comparing gender versus cash, gender spending amounts, and Visa and credit cards versus cash. I have no idea if this is going to work. And like I said, I literally just saw all this up right now. There's no pre-record anything. This is real live time, so it might work, it might not. So I would say, hey, it looks like, maybe females spend a little bit more cash, females spend a little bit more on credit cards than men do. There's cash, there's credit card, And then of course you go in here and where's that? It's Control I is what it is, I think. Nope. Let me just. Sorry about that, guys. Control I one more time. I want this little. Sorry, give me one more second. I just saw generate. Nope. Nope. Pause this for 1 second. Sorry, one of my shortcuts was messed up. Okay, so who spends the most on the weekends? I think it's a bad question by gender. We can even go back and iterate over a similar question. Works or not, I don't know, but we'll find out. So it looks like females spend more than men on the weekends. And again, this is completely unscripted. This is completely like, real. There's no pre-planning or anything else like that on here. Why is my sound gone? Oh, no, 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 no. Is my sound? Oh, there we go. Oh. Okay, so now that we have sound, let's move to leak code, because I think that's an important learning aspect. So let me go back to my PowerPoint. Okay, where is Chrome? Let's get back here. Yeah, sorry, that's in my restricted environment. I can't send commands over the network like Control-I. So on leak code, which we'll show you here in a second, the thing I like about it is it gives you real examples and doesn't give you a lot of like talk, blah, 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 how to do things. So there is education there, but yeah, if you can think how to solve it in your head, then you can come up with words to solve it in I guess, in code. So let's think about this. This was one of the questions. A country is big if it has an area of at least 3 million kilometers squared, or, so we're not using an and statement, we're using an or, has a population of at least 25 million. So how would we code that out? How would we select that? Well, we could just say where whatever the table is, where area, so the area is greater than this number, return, 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 or population is greater than 25 million. Let's look at one more, then we'll actually go and delete code for a second, and we'll show you this. Find the names, and go to the screen, find the names of the customers that are not referred by customer with ID 2. We don't know who customer 2 is because we're not really hooking it up to a customer database. We're just looking at some type of referral table. So I want to know all the customers and that were basically not referred by customer or referral ID 2. So now, first thought, in some SQLs this might work, in some SQLs it might not work. You say, hey, select all from what are those customers, referral table, whatever it's called, where referee ID does not equal 2. You run that, and that might work. Or you might have to do where referee ID does not equal, I guess, 2. And, or you do it the other way, where referral equals 1 or null, or is null and is not 2. So you have to kind of get in there and play with this to really understand this. So let me load that leak code. And again, a lot of people use this for interviews. I've never used it for interview, but you can use it for interview. But let's load it here. Come on, machine. Well, I think today it's going to be one of those technology problems, but it did finally work. So you can go through and learn kind of stuff. Like I said, I just poked around. That's why I'm at 8%. But I just wanted to see what it had. But if you go to problems, and like I said, I'll highly encourage this, or if you find a way to just find something you're interested in, Google cheap online SQL server and upload a data set, or use Kaggle or something. So I think this is one of the ones, big country. It says it's easier, so let's just play with it. This will give us real life experience of using SQL. Here's the same question that it asked us. So if I did select name, because this is what they kind of want down here, population, what else we need? Area from table name is world. You run it. I know it's going to fail, but still. Oh, movement. Okay, so that did not work. It's weird, give me it over here. Yeah, so this is how it should look. It says, hey, you failed. Okay, so this is what my input is. This is the output I got, and this is what it wants. So we're getting close, though. At least we're getting something. So let's go. How do we do this? What do we use? What's that command, anybody? Where. And what's it say? It says where area. So let's just type area. Is that area? Yeah. And since I can't ever remember this, I'm just going to copy that. Where area is greater than or equal to 3000. We're going to put these on a new line because, again, SQL is kind of informal. Or, this, you know, they put an or statement right in there for me. Or population, which is I should be copying and pasting. I can't spell. Oops. Population is greater than 5,000, 5 million, whatever. Let's just run that. Now I know I make it easy because I've done this one like 10 times. But even the first time I did it, it took me 2 or 3 times because I was doing an and statement because I wasn't reading fully. What's the other one? This one, the customer referee. So same thing here. I don't want to bore you with this, but please spend a couple minutes looking at this or reading some of the articles, some of the videos in SQL. I want you to breathe this week. I know we're all celebrating that all the mind tap work is over. But SQL is super important. If you can pull your data, you have the freedom to not rely on other people. Thank you guys. Have a great week. And please let me know if you have any questions. I look forward to that Notebook LM and a couple other videos. And also remember that if you got it this far, I'll make an announcement that I'm teaching at Lewis, or me and Jorge or Dr. Penseco are teaching or doing a demo of Graduate College PGA. This November 20th. So I think it's going to be online if you need, or it's going to be there in person. It'll be online. Yeah, right here, November 20th. If you want to show up and see me make a fool of myself, or online, I think it's an online event, just let me know and I can send you the link. But we'll talk about a lot of generative AI. So hopefully everyone has a great week. Let me know if you have any questions, and let me get these posted and start working on things.